Hello and welcome to this special short vlog from Cologne. This is a Köln Dom, as we say in German, because the vowels are elongated. It's just spelled D-O-M. It means cathedral, and it's this massive, very impressive cathedral right at the central station. So it's like a mixture of a really dodgy area, to be honest, with lots of strange people and strange happenings, and this just impressive Gothic architecture is constantly being renovated and restored. Apparently, we just walked around and there were some like museum windows you could look through. They're doing restoration works and a lot of the Roman what's it called, like archaeology, basically, from German and Cologne heritage. You can see some more there, bits and bobs of ruins everywhere, and it's just, yeah, this very unique juxtaposition here. So yeah, it's 2 a.m. I can see the station clock from here, and I need to take a train at 2:10 because I'm living this crazy life as usual. And I just went through my calendar counting my commitments, and right now I am at usually 91 work hours per week according to contract. So of course I had to find a way to not have to actually spend all 91 hours doing things in the usual, obvious, expected way, but becoming more efficient. I already talked about that in the previous video, so this one is just about how I really wish efficiency was more commonplace and more accepted and more understood and more applied by everyone, because if we want to get anywhere as individuals or groups or even a whole species, it is essential. And that is probably, I think it's one of the biggest takeaways that we can learn from the greats, really successful people, because in business it's absolutely essential. And if you think about it a certain way, then our whole lives are like running a company. The more things you're trying to achieve and the more that you're really looking at life analytically, the more it starts to bear a resemblance. And we all have a budget, we all have income, outcomes, expenditures, we have responsibilities, different stakeholders of different kinds, different groups of people that we're coordinating, or that who are our bosses and on the same level. So I'm finding it hard to think, of course, due to sleep deprivation right now, but yeah, this is what I'm starting to realize. And everyone you can collaborate with is not that different actually from a coworker, and everyone you manage to get on your team and start delegating to, getting them to support you, is not that different from an employee. Everyone you admire and follow is not that different from a boss or supervisor. So learning to see the machinery in day-to-day life is actually really interesting and empowering. It's really fascinating. It's not as cold as I'm making it sound right now. It's a tool, it's a superpower, because then you can start tweaking as well. You can start looking at the bolts and nuts and see, okay, what is actually happening, and to start to live more consciously, more intentionally. Right, and so, okay, so these 91 hours are of pure work. So this does not include commuting, and I'm commuting a lot of time. So on like a local day-to-day basis, it's at least an hour per work day that I'm not in home office, and plus the intercity commute back and forth every week is at least 7 hours one way, if you include every part of the transit. So, well, not at least, let's say on average 7 hours. So I'm spending about 15 hours per week doing intercity commuting, plus the daily hour for every work day, which is currently 2 hours per work day, that's 6. So I'm somewhere at around 20 hours of just commuting. So if I were just to add it on top, then I'd be at 111 hours. And that's not including sleep, personal life, going to the bathroom. So of course I have to start overlapping as much as possible. So I've started teaching on trains. I had this unexpected change in my commute, which is why I ended up in Cologne, which is not where I was going. And I realized, like, okay, I can take this route and then I'll have 2 hours in Cologne. It was still a decent time when I arrived, so I called people up and I was like, are you available for a night meet? So I got some personal life in there, went walking, got some exercise, which I have not exercised in weeks now. I'm not kidding. Well, maybe in bits and bobs. I like run down to the gym and do some pull-ups or do some random push-ups sometimes when I have excess energy, but no proper exercise in weeks now. And yeah, exactly. So I'm taking trains now with good Wi-Fi so I can teach on them. I'm doing all my organizational stuff. I even started being like, okay, what else can I move to train time? And realized I could probably brush my teeth and do some other basic hygiene and self-care stuff on the train, because why spend that time at home doing that when I could be spending it on better stuff or on my relationship, for example. So got some unfriendly company. Look for ways that you can combine things. I have a friend who goes on an elliptical machine or a treadmill when she's working. So she has a special treadmill where you can put your laptop in front. And I mean, that's not really my style. I don't think I can do that. But the obvious one is listening to podcasts and audiobooks while you do repetitive work, outsourcing repetitive work, finding systems. If you're able to code, you can create little tools that help you solve workflows in a much more efficient way. Time tracking is really useful, but I also realized I'm falling into the trap of tracking too much. I'm starting to have to spend time on editing my time tracking, and that's counterproductive. Recording stuff instead of writing. I started paying for a new subscription because it makes my scheduling so much easier. And yeah, I'm just really happy with the way things are going in terms of building systems and processes. And I know that everything is going to become a lot more scalable the more I keep doing this. But it is intense, and I have to get into this pretty much warrior mindset, because there's no point complaining. There's not much that I can change except to keep tightening the screws and to keep, perfecting the system. So yeah, I wish I didn't feel so alone in this, and that this was more commonplace, not just among entrepreneurs and immigrants, both of which are my case. And I know that as soon as the handcuffs are off my hands with immigration, I'm going to be able to start earning a lot more money in a lot more sensible ways, have a much healthier and more sustainable lifestyle, or at least only be doing this sort of insanity for better reasons that have more leverage. If I'm going to be having sleepless nights, I'm going to be jumping on trains, I'm going to be doing all this hardcore stuff, then I want it to be really paying off, like in the multiple digits and large impact, and scalability and contribution and all that stuff. So otherwise I'm just essentially in survival mode, just going around the hamster wheel. Yeah, but that'll come, and that will also bring more financial security with it. And I keep asking myself, why don't people in a comfortable or normal or privileged position do this? And it's probably because they don't have to. Pressure does build diamonds. They don't just happen out in the open. But if you can take this impulse, this information, this example of those of us who are under immense pressure, and we learn to cope and make something good out of it, then even if you're not under the pressure, you can still learn how to develop the good parts, and that's how you create growth. That's how you scale up. That's how you improve your life exponentially instead of linearly. All right, enough rambling at this beautiful place. I gotta go catch my train, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.